Ooh. It's July 1st, meaning thousands of artists all around the world are joining an event known as Art Fight. No, Buttercup, it's not about being violent with art supplies. Art Fight is an art gifting site. Artists add images of their OCs, or original characters, to the site to showcase them. Then, in the month of July, all the artists on the site can join a team and gather points by drawing art of others' OCs. Whichever team has the most points by the end of the month wins. The amount of points you earn varies based on the art process, how much of the character is shown, and if the other artist who owns the OC is on your team or a different team. I started last year on Team Crystal. This year I'm on Team Tragedy. We love tragic backstories over here. This video is an introduction to the OCs I'm entering both from last year and this year. So without further ado, let's get started. I've divided my OCs into 4 groups. The first group comprises of characters from my current webcomic, Seasons May Change, Learning to Bend. The first of these characters is the protagonist of the story. Her name has yet to be officially dropped. Yes, a friend called her Cathra, but starting in chapter 4, once I'm back from hiatus, she goes by another name, Willow. Within Willow's world are people known as Sentinels, 8 individuals who have powers relating to the balance of the world. Willow is one of them, being the Sentinel of Autumn, also known as the Autumn Seasonal. This gives her powers over wind and fire. However, that power attracted the attention of shadowy beings, known as Forsakers, Nameless Ones, or Wraiths. Willow was once their prisoner, but has managed to escape. She doesn't recall much of her time there, nor does she fully want to. Willow, or Cathra, is my first OC, and she has evolved quite a bit. From being a shadow dragon to a lightning dragon, back to a shadow dragon, then to a character capable of stealing the powers of those she kills, to what will hopefully be her final iteration, a young woman with fire and wind powers. One form of Cathra or another has been around for close to 12 years now, so of course she had to be the first character I added to Art Fight. Though the most unique aspect of this current iteration of Cathra's character is the presence of a mentor in her story. Now, the character in the background has currently only made an appearance on the cover of my comic. This is Anders Gunnarsson, the current chief of Farnor Village. Farnor is where Willow ended up after escaping, by the way. As it's a few chapters until we properly meet Anders, I won't go too much into the details here. He became the chief at a rather young age due to his father passing away while he was young and his older brother being missing. Upon eventually learning about Willow's situation, he becomes invested in her safety. He already failed another sentinel before. Seasons May Change, Learning to Bend is currently on hiatus for the next few months due to rewriting some parts of the script and due to being on maternity leave. So now is a good time to check out the comic on dieclasscomics.com, though maybe after you're done with this video. Alright, the next group of characters are from my first attempt at a longer comic, page by page. The comic is being rewritten and thus a lot of the character designs are being reworked. One of the exceptions is Anda. Anda is from a long line of dragons with powers connected to the spirit, telepathy, mind control, entering dreams, etc. However, after her father was possessed by an evil spirit, she became a prisoner in her own home. During her darkest hours, Anda sent out a dream to call for help. While this did lead to other dragons coming to her aid, it also led to some of her powers attaching themselves to other individuals. Her goal is to meet up with these people to restore her powers, and then with her new allies, free her father. While what happened to Anda is what initiates the story, our story actually mainly follows 2 other characters, the first of which is Jack. When his parents and older brother died, Jack becomes the only viable family member to be his younger sister, Scarlet's, guardian. This becomes far from easy, and only gets worse when a dragon kidnaps Scarlet. While running after them, Jack ends up in another world, where he ends up meeting Anda. The only reason I chose Jack rather than Scarlet was because I had a better idea on how to redraw Jack, and I had yet to get any of my male main characters on Artfight. Page by page is slowly being reworked while I make Learning to Bend. I'm a few pages into the drawing process so far. Now, webcomics take a long time to make. I'm 2 years in on Learning to Bend, and I'm only finished chapter 3 a few weeks ago. But with so many stories I want to share, I have to compromise a little bit. This brings us to my novel characters, in particular the characters from my concept novel, Ice and Fang. Once again, we're starting with the main character, this time being Xana. Xana is a vampire who's in hiding. This is because she killed a vampire lord, Matthias Rossi. This put a rather large target on her back as Matthias's widow, Lady Strixa Rossi, is after Xana's head. Though as long as Strixa sends more of her servants and children after Xana because they see her as a threat, Xana will gladly live up to their expectations. Unlike a lot of my protagonists, Xana is more of an anti-hero. The first chapter is her deceiving Leo, one of Strixa's children, into drinking tainted blood and decapitating him with his own sword. She's not one to show mercy to her enemies, especially to the vampire who is our main villain. Ambrose Rossi. Ambrose is one of Matthias and Strixa's 5 children. Now, Ambrose has a unique power to control anyone he has ever come into contact with, just by playing a song on his violin. The only reason he hasn't gone on to use these powers to take over is because he's forced to obey the commands of the one who turned him into a vampire, until that vampire is dead. That vampire was Matthias, who was killed by Xana. I'm currently working on an outline for Ice and Fang, but I have posted a concept for Chapter 1 on Unveil if you want to have a better idea about Xana's character. Now, the last group is my random group. I just add a character simply because I feel like it. First is Lantern. He's actually from the same universe as Willow and Anders, but his appearance comes way later in the story. He's a massive spoiler, so the most I can give is that the lantern he carries can turn into a sword, and the cloak he wears can turn into a pair of wings. I'll also add that he seems to know Willow, but I refuse to elaborate beyond that. As for the other random characters, yes, I said characters as I added 2 instead of just 1 this year, we have the ghost kitties that occasionally haunt me. Astrid the Sensei, and the vicious, wild, and ferocious warrior Princess Buttercup Not Hawk Food, and that is her full title. These 2 are cats I used to own ever since I started making webcomics. They're sadly no longer with us, but I couldn't let go of the memories of my girls. So I doodle them at the end of chapters and have them pop into YouTube videos. The lore behind my ghost kitties goes as follows. Buttercup, upset that her life was cut short due to sickness, decided that if she can't have a kingdom among the living, she would simply make her kingdom among the dead. When she met Astrid, she decided to hire her as her royal advisor. There's more to the ghost kitties than just these 2, but I focus on Astrid and Buttercup as they were my kitties. I already mentioned another ghost kitty by the name of Cocoa Fluffs. Maybe I'll add him next year. Either way, those are the 9 characters currently on my Artfight profile. The event already started, but anyone can still join mid-event. Next month, I'll make a video about how the event goes on my end. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Shadowy Beings. A young woman with fire and wind powers. I said powder, not powers. Ah! The only reason I chose Scat. I meant Jack, not Scat. That vampire. I'll also add This is why you don't record while sick. There's more to the ghost kitties than the